Hey, I'm LaRie.
And I'm Nick B.
And this is Dirty Roses Podcast, where two girls from the City of Roses discuss love, lust, and perception.
And we got two very different perspectives.
That's right, because my girl Nick B is a long-term habitual dater.
Oh, for real? That's what we're doing?
I mean, girl, it's facts.
Okay, you're right. And my girl LaRie was tied down and now newly single and don't know a thing about dating.
Dang, well, here we are taking our friends' dating stories
and having real life conversations.
Dirty Roses Podcast starts now. What up, y'all? This is LaRie.
And I'm Nick B.
And welcome to another episode of Dirty Roses Podcast. We are so excited today because we are joined by some individuals who have some multifaceted, multi-talented lifestyles. And I will start by introducing my homeboy, Jeelani. He is the founder and CEO of Financial Freedom Bootcamp. All your financial needs. He's going to help you start a business. He's going to get you a bank account. He's going to get you all the way set up. And he even told us about some ways to make some money online. And it's not on OnlyFans. I'm just saying. But
love it.
Similar. I got my homegirl, Michelle Yemaya. I love it. She's got Yemaya's Inclinations, taking care of all of your holistic needs. She's going to steam the coochie. She's going to put the little beads up. I mean, she doesn't put the beads up there, but she got the stuff to do all of those things. She got the crystal. She's got all the things that you need to like get your spiritual wellness together. But she is also the spokeswoman for the Black Writers Liberation Party for Portland. And she's out here doing community advocacy work as well. So she's getting your holistic life together, and then she's getting her community together. But today, we're going to talk about something really interesting. It's been a hot topic, and a lot of people liked this topic. So we're going to bring it to y'all. It is polyamorous or the poly lifestyle. And as you guys know, we start every episode with a little story scenario. So I'm going to start out. Girl meets guy. It's always girl meet guy, right?
Always.
Yes, always. Girl meets guy. They start talking, they start chatting, he's expressing his interest in her. He's kind of like pursue her, and she's feeling it a little bit. She's like, okay, cool. Finds out that he is in a polyamorous relationship. And his girlfriend, his main girlfriend, or the person that's in his life normally, does not know that he is pursuing her. She was open to the idea of the whole poly thing. However, she felt uncomfortable because he was pursuing her without including his other half, which she felt like was kind of against the rules. And we're going to talk about the rules because we don't know what the rules are, and I heard it's a little bit different. So, but in that, she kind of cut things off because she was like, yeah, I'm not really feeling the whole lying to your partner because it feels like you're still cheating. And so we're going to get into some myths, some lies, some truths, some histories, and all these things with our expert guest here. What it do?
What's up with it?
What's up?
All
right. So Nick B.
Yes.
Have you ever been in this situation?
I have kind of been in this situation. So the best example I have of this is I actually met this guy when I was working at a hotel. I was a server. He was a guest at a hotel. Okay. And he thought I was cute. And I was like, oh, you're cute too. We exchanged numbers and we were talking for a couple weeks, actually almost going on a month. And at some point he invited me to like come have dinner with him. And he lived up in Seattle. So in my head, I was like, oh, this is so romantic. We're going to go have dinner in Seattle. It's going to be a whole sleepless in Seattle situation. And so I get up there after this whole 3.5 hour drive, right? And we go to this nice restaurant and we end up shutting down the restaurant. We were having great conversation and everything was good. Girl, I ordered steak. So in my head, I was like, oh, I ordered steak. I'm putting out tonight. Right. That's what I'm doing. I already know the price point of my meal. I know what comes with it. So that's what it's going to be. And so when our meal ended and we were going back to his place, in my head was like, okay, so I'm coming up. And he was like, actually, no, you're not. He was like, I have to talk about this first with my girlfriends, plural, before you can come up. And I said, wait, huh? I was so confused. Right. So what he explained to me in that moment, which I didn't know ahead of time, was that he was into a polyamorous relationship. And what that meant in his scenario was that I would not be added to his repertoire of getting it in until it was approved. Until it was approved by his other ladies. They needed to meet me. They needed to okay me. It wasn't just his decision. It was a group effort here. And At that point, I'm not going to lie, I was 100% scared. I was turned off. I ran away. I didn't know what to think of this. I was like, abort, abort, abort. This is not for me. And that's exactly what it was. I drove home the whole 3.5 hours or whatever it takes to get from Seattle back to Portland on a whole Thursday night. Okay.
Oh God.
Distraught. I was like, I don't know what this is, but I've been bamboozled. I felt bamboozled. I was. And so that was we didn't talk after that. I found out later he was married when he told me he wasn't. I did a whole background check. So I pulled up his records. I was like, oh, so you're married, not divorced. No. You're in. It was a lot. It was a lot. And I think that at the time period for me, this was the early 2000s. I didn't know anything about this lifestyle. I hadn't done any research on it. I hadn't been informed on it. I didn't know if it was for me, but to be introduced to it in a way that I wasn't expecting it like this. It was a lot. It was a lot for me that night.
So with that being said, I know that we've kind of had background conversations about this, and there are different versions of poly, right? So it's not just all polyamorous. Polyamorous is what?
Polyamorous is just the umbrella term to say that you're capable of loving more than one person.
Okay.
That's what polyamorous is.
But then there are different terms for the different types of relationships, correct? Which are?
Some of them are like a triad, which is basically a triangle. It's 3 people, right?
Okay.
Then you have a closed triad, which is a closed triangle, which means 2 people deal with one person. So a guy and 2 girls, or a girl and 2 guys, right? You have an open triangle, or a V, which means the 2 people at the top don't deal with each other. So you can picture a V. That person at the tip would be that person, and the person might have somebody in Chicago, the person might have somebody in New York. But the thing about it, they both know about each other.
They both deal with the one person, but not with each other.
Not with each other.
But the triangle, with the closed triangle, everybody dealing with everybody.
Everybody's not necessarily doing everybody,
okay.
but we're all in the relationship.
But they interact.
Yeah, you interact.
Okay, got it. And then what are the terms? Because we talked about that again privately. It was a polygory. What is it?
Yeah, what is the difference between a man with multiple women versus a woman with multiple men?
Yeah.
I'm curious.
Polyandry is a woman with multiple. Yeah, it's a woman with multiple men.
Okay.
Polyandry is a woman with multiple men.
So I'm curious, because this is one question that I've had a lot of. A lot of people who necessarily don't understand the lifestyle think that this is a form of modern day pimping. Right, they think that it's just
for some people it is.
Right. I mean, and I'm not saying that that's right, true. But I think what the misunderstanding is that a lot of people think that it's about one man with multiple women, and I think what they don't understand is there's also a lifestyle with one woman and multiple men, and that there's a difference, and it's also a choice. And so I just want to break down the stereotype between the difference of the two, and also the misunderstanding that this is modern day pimping versus a whole choice in lifestyle.
Yeah. The choice in lifestyle definitely just comes into what your morals and your values are within your relationship. I mean, like when you're in a polyamorous relationship, and let's just be clear, poly is many, amorous loves. Okay. So
wait, say that one more time. Poly is
many.
Yeah.
Loves. Amorous is loves. So polyamorous is just having the capability of loving more than one person at a time. Okay. Right? So that's the gist of it, not being bogged down to having one person.
Going to get close to your mic, girl. We want to hear you.
Yes, speak up.
Yes, we got to hear this good information. Yeah.
So you can hear my podcast voice.
Ooh, that voice.
That's why you got all the women's.
Okay. All that.
Y'all can hear my podcast voice.
But definitely a lifestyle. It's not a fad. I mean, some people may treat it like a fad because they don't understand it, or they may be learning about it. But being or living a polyamorous lifestyle, it takes a lot of growth, and you have to be willing to do the work, really. And so it's not modern day pimping. It really isn't. I mean, some people may think of it in that way and may, utilize the terms for whatever their extracurricular activities may be. But that's not what this is. It's way deeper than that. It's way more spiritual. Like polyamory has like a level of spirituality. It has a level of building an empire. It has a level of knowing self. And without those, you're really entering and engaging in polyfuckery.
Polyfuckery. Yes.
You're engaging in polyfuckery.
And how does that happen? Because I know that there are like rules. Like, are the rules like specific for all relationships, or is it based on the triads and the I call it vaginas, the bees?
The bees.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, I think it's gonna depend on the relationship, to be honest, and what the dynamic of the relationship is.
Got it.
Some triads have it to where they have like a hierarchy within their relationship, to where like the man may be the person who's the outgoing one and the one approaching people or building the relationships, but the woman ultimately makes the decision. If there's no connection, there's nothing that moves forward. So like the hierarchy is like, yeah, I was here first and I'm down with this, but also like, what are you bringing to the table? And, like, what is your purpose in this relationship? There has to be a purpose. There has to be a point. You can't just, you could.
Now, when you say triads, and maybe this is me reading too much into the word, but does triad mean only 3 people? Okay, so then in this setup, can there be more than 3?
Well, that's like she said, that depends on what the boundaries set by the couple or the tribe, right? So it's about the boundaries. So there is still boundaries, there's still rules. There are actually a lot more because there's more communication, being that you are adding somebody else's to your relationship. Like Yemaya said, when you have like a nesting partner, so it could be me and my wife, and I'm the person that go out and initiate and go find somebody because I'm the outgoing person. I'm the one that's in the public more. But ultimately, you have to get past the wife for that to actually be coming to fruition, right? So a triad, now, with that being said, you can add more people to it. Now, if a woman wants to add a guy to it, right, that has to be something that is discussed if she want to add another person. But again, you got to think about it as in the sense of a king and kingdom, and how do you make an empire, right? You see a lot of tribes actually marry their daughters off to what? Another family, so you can bridge the families together. So it'd be very intelligent if the woman was to add another person, then that guy got to come with either another family that's equally matched as us, financially and mentally and physically and spiritually and everything else, right? And if she go to that family, that's bridge another family, which means now instead of a 3-person household and a 3-person household income, you can now potentially have 6, which can actually add more wealth to the family, if that makes sense. So as a family, say for instance that other family is making $100,000, $200,000 a year. We making $200,000 a year. We putting that all together, we can make more and actually invest more into bigger businesses.
So does that only work if the person lives with you?
No, you don't have to live together.
Okay.
You just have to be, like, your integrity needs to be intact, and you need to have clear, concise communication on, like, what's happening. I mean, there's a lady that I date in New Jersey.
Okay. Currently?
And I'm here. And I'm here, and we live all the way on opposite sides of the country. She's a business owner. I'm a business owner. My partner is a business owner. Okay. So my situation would be, I probably would be the tip of the V right now. In my situation.
Are both partners female, or are they one is male, one is female?
One is male, one is female.
Got it. Okay.
In closed triad situations, the rules are going to be determined by the partners and who's in the relationship. But you have some relationships where it's open, but one person in the relationship may not want you to be open, and you'll have to work that out. Or I've been in a situation where the lady literally, like, it was just a wild situation, but she literally thought that I was there to make her better for the person, for the man,
a
like,
teacher.
and that wasn't it. But yeah, she thought of it in that type of way, So I've been in different situations where it's like, I'm not comfortable with you guys hanging out without me.
So what do you do in situations of jealousy? Because it almost sounds, and maybe I'm wrong, but it sounds like there was a little bit of jealousy in that scenario. How do you deal with jealousy in these relationships that have multiple people, and you're navigating emotions, relationships, and I guess
sex.
Even sex, levels of priority? Because I guess me coming from a relationship where I'm dealing with only one person, in my head, regardless if they cheat. I mean, those things happen. In my head, I'm still thinking, oh, I'm their priority, right? But if you're in a relationship where you have multiple people involved, I don't think it's necessarily fair to think that you are the priority when there's multiple folks that think I'm that priority too. So how do you deal with jealousy? How do you deal with levels of priority, and is that a thing? I don't know. I feel I'm sorry, I'm clueless, and I don't mean to be offensive here. I'm just trying to understand.
No, you good. You good. Ask the questions, fire them off.
Yeah, there definitely are levels, I would say. I mean, and I don't want folks to feel like being in a polyamorous relationship, you have no right to feel like you're a priority, because you absolutely have that right to feel like I'm a priority in this relationship. The level of priority may vary, because you may or may not have children with this person, and there may or may not be a partner in the relationship who does have children, you know? So it's like the levels, definitely there are levels, but the jealousy piece, if you can communicate and you can like literally be a grown ass woman and sit down and talk about what you're feeling and why, and have a solution to prevent that from moving forward.
Solutions.
You can prevent the jealousy from turning into toxicity, and you can prevent it from, you know.
So you say
relationship.
So you mentioned grown ass woman. Now,
a grown ass person.
Grown ass. Okay. Well, like, but no, I say that because I feel like traditional gender roles is that we have grown-ass men, right, that want to be the leader and the head. So how do folks navigate two men that want to be the priority or the decision maker, or one that's at least, if not the decision maker, the one at least leading the discussion to where decisions are made? Because we have usually one chief and a whole bunch of Indians. Yeah, go ahead. Let me hear it, because we need to know.
I know she's going to give an answer that is specifically to what she can answer, being on the gender role topic. But for me, I'm just recently now, I'm a firm believer that it's only, for me, my personal thing, it's only one man in the household. I can't contribute to another king's kingdom. You understand? I'm the visionary. So if the visionary, like you said, what do you do when you have two visionaries? Now, I tell people all the time, like with poly, right? If you want to look at the natural order of things, look at nature. You don't see two gorillas running that family. You don't see two lions in that pride. They fight over the pride until the weaker lion is now having to be submissive to the stronger lion, right? So humanity have been in relationships have been tampered with by men on what things should look like. We've seen the newest things is like all the letters, and there's no disrespect to anybody, but it's like we recreate what traditional relationships look like. But on the opposite end, we all still kind of have a black cloud over poly, because it looks like you said, pimping or something else. And it's how do y'all have sex? Well, how do y'all have sex? It's a monogamous relationship. It's the same damn thing. You just got to have more communication. Don't y'all have communication in monogamous relationships? So for me personally, it has to be one man for me to lead my family, and me to have the vision and be the visionary and lead my family correctly. I can't have two men pulling in two different directions. And now you also have to take in consideration that the man is now if he's not having the same vision as you, he's injecting his own vision into your woman, which now is going to cause confusion.
So then does that mean that you don't necessarily agree with I'm sorry,
polyandry?
Yes, polyandry. Because within the poly community, there's these different breakdowns of it. Do you not necessarily respect that version of it?
No, not that I don't respect it. Not that I don't respect it. I absolutely respect it. But again, it has to be on. I know women with two men, but it has to be that these two guys are on the same path, same wavelength, the same frequency, and I have to respect all dynamics if I'm going to be into this lifestyle. Respect it, but it just might not be for me, and I have the right to say, choose that.
Yeah. Okay. That makes sense.
It's going to be the same in any situation. Every partner needs to be in agreement, right?
Yeah.
So you can't have a true poly relationship with a partner who doesn't really know that they're in a poly situation. Like that's like misleading. It's like bamboozling someone, like you said, that part. When it comes to roles within the relationship, I personally just feel like I'm gonna look for the person's strengths and what they bring to the table, because at some point in our lives as adults, you know, we always want to lead something. We want to feel like we're contributing to something, or like, you know, we're the masters of this. And I feel like in certain situations where you have like a woman and two men, and maybe they have partners and things like that, it's really like high key communication. And it's like, and that's like the biggest piece is high key communication, even if that shit hurts.
And that's with every relationship.
Yeah. With every relationship.
I just posted that too.
Yeah.
But also just like he said, I've also been in a situation where me and the other woman don't get along. And so the sex is uncomfortable if the energy is not right, right? Like you feel that transference of we're not aligned, or there's like a miscommunication piece. So like definitely being on the same page is important, but that goes for whatever your situation looks like, or whatever your dynamic is. You all got to be on the same page, because that energy is off.
Yeah. So let's oh, sorry, I was gonna ask, how did y'all like decide that poly was for you?
Yes, that was my question
soul searching
too.
for me. Me personally, it was a lot of soul searching. There was, you know, different instances that I have to be very transparent. There has been, you know, infidelity before, right? But that's just me growing up as a young man. I remember my stepfather told me to lie to my mother, but don't lie to him. Right. When I was I think I got caught with like marrow some tree or something like that. Right. And he was like, don't lie to him. Don't lie to me. Just lie to your mom. So I grew up with this connotation of like, I have to lie to women. Right. Or as a young man, you taught don't tattletale. Then you grow up into what? Don't be a snitch.
Right.
So there's a reason of like not wanting to have conflict resolution as young men. They grow into grown men with no conflict resolution. Then we like to say, well, I'm sparing your feelings by not telling you what's going on, which is really not, that's not really what you're doing. You're projecting and stuff. You know what I mean? So it had to be a lot of soul searching for me to understand that I've always been polyamorous. You know what I mean? And I just didn't know what it was. I didn't study it. I didn't know. So it's like repressive slavery syndrome, right? There's a reason why things are in your body and you act the way you act because of genetics and things that your mother and grandfather and your grandparents had that's going, it's in them, that's in you. Right. My dad was a pimp. Right. So I probably got a little bit of that inside of me to say that I'm attracted to multiple people. And that's the thing as well. A lot of times we get in monogamous relationships and all of a sudden on Tuesday, you cool. Monday we're together. On Wednesday, you can't like a picture. You can't talk to nobody. You can't look at nobody. You are totally unattracted to everybody in the world now. But you guys never discuss these invisible boundaries.
Right.
See what I'm saying? So that's usually what happens when you see people arguing online. You're liking pictures, that teenage kind of thing. You having boundaries, but you're not discussing them. Right. So a lot of times we get into things that we don't even know why we're doing them. So that's just personally for me. And I had to do a lot of soul searching to realize that I can be with one woman. I actually am with one woman, but you don't have a partner right now. You know what I mean? And I also understand that I am still attractive to people. Right. Attracted to people, and she is as well.
Gotcha.
So when it
hold
go
on.
ahead. I'm sorry. No, go ahead.
I was just going to answer. I've been in polyamorous relationships probably since I was about 21. And I think now where I'm at in my life and just knowing that I for sure am a polyamorous person, it's trials and tribulations. You know, like I've had probably, I say like 3 actual monogamous relationships in my life. And one of those was a marriage. So, you know.
Been there, done that.
Yeah, same.
What's going on?
So it's like, things change, but just knowing that I have a big heart, I love people. And then also just with the elevation factor in it, you grow and you learn that you can't, maybe not one person can give you everything that you need. You know, you may have a partner that you can build with and grow with, but you maybe want a partner that you can go out and have fun with and like go on adventures and do different things, you know, like, so I've just learned myself. And I think that's why I can confidently say, yes, I am a polyamorous person. But that just comes with knowing me and knowing myself and then clearly reflecting on past relationships.
What do you guys say to the couples that are in strictly monogamous relationships that think the phrase of one person can't meet all your needs? And their answer is we work through it,
Mm-hmm.
we find ways to compromise.
Mm-hmm.
What do you say to those people who say you guys are not choosing to compromise, to work through it, to find happy mediums, but instead finding a whole different person that feels
or
the
being
need?
disciplined.
Yeah. So what do you say to that person that says, "Oh, you're not working at a monogamous relationship because you're giving up, because it's easier," or any of those things that may be stereotypes to your lifestyle? I'm curious because that was a lot of feedback that I got. They're like, "Oh, okay, they just don't want to work. They don't want to put the work in. They want to."
Let me start it off. So with that being said, monogamous relationships, I guarantee you most of those people are living an untruthful lifestyle, and they're very unhappy. They're unhappy. They just don't want to admit it. You know what I mean? And it's hard to put that mirror up for some people. And at the beginning of the day, this is about love languages, and that's one person is not going to meet all of those love languages, period. If one person is very sexual active and the other one doesn't have a problem with communicating, how are you going to effectively communicate with me and give me words of affirmation if you have a problem communicating? See what I'm saying? So if you have a problem communicating, then you're probably not going to give me words of affirmation to build me up. You know what I'm saying? So you might be good at sex, but you're just not good at communicating. This one might be good at communicating and totally build me up. Look, today is going to be the day you're going to be all right. Pull yourself up. You are a guy. Get to what you got to get to, baby, and come back home to me. That makes us feel good. But this person doesn't do this. So you're not going to have everybody meet every single love language that you got, right? Now, to say that you're going to work on it, 9 times out of 10, the monogamous relationships, they're not even actively practicing love languages and know what those probably even are, because they probably haven't done a lot of self-development as well. Right now, with the polyamory lifestyle, you have to do a lot of communicating, right? We talked about that. With a lot of communicating, you find a lot of tenets. So there's a lot of tools that you actually have to work harder because you're dealing with multiple personalities instead of one. I'll give it to you like this. If me and Yemaya was together, right, and we get into a problem or a tiff and whatever, she's going to go her way, I'm going to go to my way for a couple hours or a day or two or something like that. We're not speaking. Right? She go to her girls be like, I'm tired of hearing about it. Just leave them. I go to my guys. I'm tired of hearing about it. Just leave them. Right? And then you never have a referee. With a third person, you have a referee to say, I love you and I love you. Jay, you was wrong. Yemaya, you was wrong. And I love both of y'all and I got best interest of the whole collective. So now you got somebody there to be non-biased and tell you and hold you accountable for when you're wrong to bring it back in quicker. Because it's easier, like you said, it's easier for y'all to be monogamous and not deal with each other and don't talk to each other and let that tension build. So what I'm saying is that you build tenets that in the polyamory world that would actually help you in a monogamous world. Me and my wife has grown stronger with the communication and being open and dealing with harder conversations because we had to deal with harder conversations. There was times she was with the woman, I was totally out of it. No. I wasn't even there, right? So I had to be at work jealous, like, I want time. I wanted to be there. Like, what's going on?
Y'all, damn it, I got to win to work. Y'all
I wanted to be there on time.
Right? Y'all didn't tell me when y'all was getting together.
Right?
So back to that jealousy. Right. See, and that's again, jealousy is not like jealousy is not going to be there. It's going to be there, but you have the tenets to work through it. You have the tools to work through it. You're probably understanding and dealing with and studying shadow work, right? So you have to know personal development to get through it, I think.
I mean, monogamous people, to each their own, to be honest, because some people, who are monogamous, they have like that religious standpoint, and that's totally fine. Traditional. But whose tradition, right?
Right, yeah.
So
that part.
So
the eyes got big on that one.
But on the subject of tradition, when it comes to children, do you guys have conversations about whatever lifestyle works for you, or do you say monogamy or polyamorous is the way to go? Like, how do you talk to your children about just about them discovering who they are? Do you expect them to follow your path, or do you expect them to find their own?
I'm not a parent like that. I'm a community mom, I guess.
Okay.
So I am a fan of being honest, because kids are not dumb. They know what's going on. They know what's happening. They know when there's troubles. They know when it's good, So when you're in a serious relationship and there's other people involved, the children are going to know. There's family trips there's all the things, you know.
Yeah, you're right.
You might have your weekly stayover might be on Friday nights to Sundays, and you're at the house with the kids helping and doing the things, and the kids gonna be looking like, who's this weird lady coming out of the room? Like, no, you need to communicate those things, you know.
Yeah.
So I just feel like communicating with the youth, the kids, is like the best thing, especially if they live in the home with you, and you're introducing like a live-in lifestyle.
And Jeelani, you have kids,
Yeah,
right?
so I have kids. And actually, I was just on a panel on Bigo. Shout out to my Drip Dynasty family one time. Had to give a shout out, right? So because with God, the family that we in is pretty much a polyamorous family, right? For the most part, everybody kind of find their family they want to be in. But the question that was on the panel, people was asking about children. And it was kind of, you know, there's a lot of good answers and a lot of good questions. There was a sister up there that said, well, you know, when you grow up with your grandparents, you kind of grow into that, and that becomes normal. So it's a certain sense of normalcy when they grow into it, and that's just what they know. Now, think about it when they grow into a family and lifestyle. It might be, you know, 2 guys or 2 girls or something like that, right? So they kind of grow up and they have conversations. Yeah, they have to have conversations, but what they see is just what they becomes normalcy to them. So it's not like anything outside of that is like so taboo or anything. Like she said, children are very smart. So with my children, they are very intelligent. We have had conversations. We educate them on what polyamory is in case they want to be that. So my middle child, he believes that he is polyamorous because he just has a short attention span and patience for women, right? The girl, you know, these little young girls out here today, they kind of wild.
AD, so I got more women.
Yeah. How old is your middle child?
My middle child is 17.
Curious.
He's 17.
Okay.
My oldest is 20. My oldest just had a baby, and he's totally monogamous. He's a sweetheart. He's a lover guy. He wants to be with one girl, and that's what he's seen his mom and dad do for so long, right? Since he's 20 years, that's all he's seen. So my middle child is kind of like, man, these chicks online is drama. I can't just be with one because one is just it's almost too much.
Wait, that almost sounds like a contradiction. Like, it's too much drama, but let me get more than one.
Let me get more. It is.
Let's bring them all in.
It is. He's like, well, I can only deal with you for so long, but I'm going to tell you, I'm not dealing with you like that, and I'm seeing other people. That's more or less like where he at.
Got it.
So we teaching him to be honest and truthful and authentic about where he at in his life. He don't want to deal with drama. So if I'm got to deal with drama with you, just know I'm going to deal with you when I deal with you. But when I'm not dealing with you, don't get mad if you see me in pictures with somebody else.
Dang.
Ooh, there's that.
Right.
Okay.
So I want to know, what is the craziest story that you have in dating somebody like in a multi-person relationship?
Let Yemaya take that. Boom.
Let's hear it, girl.
That deep breath and that scratch. She was like, oh,
That
do I want to relive this trip?
Right.
I want to hear it. Let's hear it.
Miami trip. Miami sounds fun and exciting.
Yes, it's that I briefly mentioned this relationship earlier with the lady, and she thought I was there to like make her better, like change her, I don't know, how she was functioning in her relationship. It just wasn't working, but we were actually, this was like 2 years ago, we were taking a trip to Miami for my birthday. And we were out there, and things were cool. It was okay. It wasn't the trip that we needed. And on the last day when we were all flying out, she like literally just kind of like lost her shit. She like threw an iron at me, and I was like, bitch.
Like an ironing board.
An iron? Wait, how do you build
irons?
How do you get to that level where you're like
chunk of iron?
Because so she was upset.
That's not light.
Right.
She literally was upset that I had a paper to roll a blunt. So she was upset that I rolled the blunt that she had broke the weed down for, and it just like literally sent her.
She
over
had
the
the
edge,
grinder, but she was bad.
No,
Okay.
she was a jealous person in the relationship, so she couldn't handle, our partner at the time like opening doors for me, which is a requirement. She couldn't handle him, like hugging me or kissing me or holding my hands, which if you're with me, you have to be intimate with me on all those levels. She was jealous because this is our first trip together in a relationship. So I'm coming with like lace teddies and things, and you're coming
with sweat.
With cotton PJs.
She had the period panties.
She had full coverage panties. Full coverage, okay?
Full coverage panties.
Full coverage panties.
Like, whatever, to each their own. But for me, I'm going to pull out all the stops, and it just was a very unhealthy situation for me because, like, I had, like tried to like bring her in and like, you know, build that, you know, sisterhood with her and like have a relationship with her. Like I was doing things like taking her lunch and doing the things that, you know, you want your man to do for you, but you have another partner.
So what was her issue with you? It sounds like you were treating her nicely, actually.
She was crazy.
Roll the blunt.
Yeah, don't touch my weed.
She just wanted she wanted to roll.
I think her issue
Let me
was
bust on
just
that.
She was crazy.
She
Lee's
definitely was outside her right mind, for sure. I just think that her personal problem was just that, you know, she could see the chemistry and the dynamic between me and the other partner, and she just didn't like it. She couldn't handle it, and her telling me that she doesn't like this or she can't deal with this when we're on this trip, and me saying you're gonna have to figure it out because we're on this trip, like that's just something that you have to work
you're gonna
through.
wait till we get all the way to the other coast.
She couldn't understand that part. We're all the way on the other side of the fucking country,
right?
And now you want to tell me that you can't do this because you didn't see him open my door, and maybe he doesn't open your door, but that's a requirement that I have, you know. So it's just, I don't think that she didn't not like me. But
she better pull her poly panties up and get over that.
Pull her poly panties up.
Who signed up for this?
But this the thing though, like, right? There's things
she
that
signed up for this.
I was not probably doing for my wife, right? But I do a lot of things, right? But when you are adding another person to it, like she said, he might be doing something now that's going to benefit you in the long run that he was not doing. So I can't just not open the door for you.
For her.
Right.
Gotcha.
You are bringing out we have a different relationship.
Right.
We might just turn up and just get the bottle and get the back and you like the homie, but we walking in. You opening up the door before me. I'm not even telling you nothing. You just opening it, right? But now she comes with a requirement. So now that a requirement is there and it's introduced to you as well.
Yeah, because I don't know about y'all, but if you on a trip with your man, like, I'm not carrying that bag. I'm not lifting that bag into the back of the trunk. I'm not doing those
There's
things.
some women that just want to do that.
That's not not what I'm doing.
Right.
My man is doing that for me.
She said, I brought the sexy clothes. You gonna carry the bags. You gonna open the doors.
Okay.
You gonna charge
you made
the
her
rows.
you low-key made her your peasant, and I kind of understand why she threw a whole iron at your ass right now.
I did not make her anything.
No, she didn't say she was carrying the bag. She said,
listen, no, you said you came with non-full coverage panties. Okay, you said, bitch, I'm gonna roll this blunt by myself.
Come on, I know y'all do. You gotta buy panties from Rihanna. You know,
you understood why she felt away though.
Some of that means that you have to look at that as inspiration. You better look at that inspiration.
That is, that's a whole level up.
Yeah, like
that's a level up.
I wasn't thinking like that. Let me step it up.
But especially because in her mind, you was there to kind of help her be better. So why was she not taking the cues?
That was right. She wasn't. I'm about to say right. That was.
He thought you were her life coach. You were her whole life coach.
That was in her mind though. Like he never said, "Oh, we're gonna add this person to the relationship so she can make us have a better." He never said those things. Like I was like, you tell her that.
It sounds like they were new to poly.
He's not, but she was. So, like she didn't.
But she
didn't get a glossary.
She wanted to have fun and you go home. Just be honest.
She wanted to try it for him, but she's not a poly person. They're no longer together because he's like, I want to continue to pursue this relationship. I wouldn't continue to pursue that relationship with him. Because
she was like me when I went to Seattle thinking I'm going to get steak and dick. She was me.
Poly ain't something you try. Do you try? You don't try certain things.
Right, but it wasn't for me.
You're so funny. But it sounds like, so I know that this is like a very common misconception is that it's like just threesomes and it's all about sex and things. So, but it sounds like because you're like, she wanted to try it out for him. Was it like she thought it was going to be like a hit it and quit it kind of, I'm gonna get a little bit of action,
to be honest.
Yeah, that's the thing.
I can't tell you.
She was just playing crazy.
I can't tell you what her thoughts were on it, but that's just because I have like a little bit of history being poly, so I know what to expect. I've been in different roles in poly relationships, and you know what I'm saying. So I just have a different outlook. He has a different understanding than she did, also, and I just think the communication wasn't there with him and her really understanding what that was about. But I like sent her podcasts, and I sent her pages and like articles to read.
She's like research this.
Research.
No, seriously, because like you really need to know what it is that you're getting yourself into. Like if I'm gonna be sitting here claiming you as like my girl or my lady or whatever the situation is, like I really need to know that you are really in this for for real.
Right.
You
Right.
don't try poly. It's a lifestyle. You don't try a lifestyle. You know what I'm saying?
That's
But how do you get there? So when you say you don't try poly, for someone who's because actually we've actually had a lot of people reach out to us and ask us, hey, folks that are poly, I think I might be interested. That might sound interesting to me. How do I get into it? So does that sound like there are people who are wanting to, how do you they're poly curious.
Yeah.
So how do you be poly curious without being committed to the lifestyle?
It's research.
You do
can't
the
get-
research.
So it's just research.
Research.
You can't say, I'm gonna try this out. Oh, that didn't work out for me, so I'm gonna pull out.
No, because you just had a threesome at that point.
You absolutely
So you
could
did.
try it out. You could try it out.
Lord have
but
mercy. So all threesomes are test drives.
You test rub.
Absolutely not.
We ain't there yet. We gonna
Such a
test drive this female out today.
There's a difference between being in an open relationship and
Mm-hmm.
swinging and being in a polyamorous relationship. And if you want to try poly, you could try poly, but you also have to keep in mind that you're trying those people's feelings, you're trying those people's relationships. You know, like you're trying what they got going on, and that's not how you should approach a relationship. You should approach it like, I want to be in this polyamorous relationship, this dynamic or this style because of these things or this reason. My reasoning is because I want to build an empire. I feel like my choice in black men is slim to none, right? I feel like there's not a whole lot of options for me personally. So I choose to expand my options and being polyamorous. But also just like rebuilding the black family. Like that is one of my
If either of you met an individual that you were completely head over heels for and they said, I don't want to be poly, I love you, I want to be with you monogamously, would you choose to switch out of poly to do a monogamous relationship with them? Or would you say, I love you, I respect you, but we have different goals? If it was the right person, I'm curious, like, how would that change or not change your perspective on the lifestyle?
It's not going to change my perspective.
Okay.
I've been in those situations, even recently, where the person is like, I want to be poly with you, but I want to be the only man. And I'm just like, I don't know about that. Like it's a possibility, but maybe not. Like he's a great guy, we have great conversation, we've never done anything physical or anything like that, not gone there, but just like the communication piece. I'm polyamorous, so you may not be the only man that I can love, and you may not be the only person that I can be with, and I need you to accept that and understand that. But also I don't want to be put in a box, and I don't want to be limited, right? Like I'm always evolving and growing into my highest level of a person and an individual, you know?
Right.
And to be in a relationship that is limiting me as a whole. So I can't divert myself from being open and growing and elevating to being closed off over here.
And that's fair.
Who may
That's
be
fair.
So
some of the things to the
but
table.
being poly doesn't mean that you're always in a multi-person relationship, because like Jeelani, you're saying like right now you're poly, but right now you don't have a partner, so it's just you and your girl. So then it kind of is like right now you're monogamous because you don't have anybody, but it's not that you're not open to it, right? So how long could you be monogamous for? Like, well, how long could you go without having a third person or another person?
Go for a while, and kind of back up, and I'm gonna answer that as well. Is that right now, me personally, my happiness, my pure happiness, and my reaching my full divine self, right, and to be my fullest optimal self, right, and acting my fullest thing, like I can't be held back because I'm unhappy. Something's not making me full. You know what I mean? And it might sound shallow or whatever, but at the end of the day, if I know what I want, then who is to judge me for what I want? And I'm not judging you for your monogamous stuff, right? You want to be like Jay-Z said, like, I want to be number one in everything I do.
Right.
Are you mad at me?
Right.
I'm not mad at you because you want to be number two. I'm not mad at you. Just be number two. That's cool. I don't want that. You know what I'm saying? So To answer your question, you can be in a monogamous relationship long as it takes for you to find that right partner, and you will know when it is. You will know when somebody's trying something, and maybe you two are just trying it, and you're just like seeing what works and what don't work. Right. You're going to run into multiple relationships monogamously just as much as you run into poly. Right? So you're going to run into some people who want to try it, some people who's curious, and some people who already has the intelligence and foundation behind it to know exactly what they want. Okay. And they come with the table and they're willing to be, I would like to say, coachable. Right? I like to say coachable. I was about to use another word, but coachable is good because I believe as a man and a visionary, right? It's my job to teach. If you teach a woman, you teach a nation. If I teach somebody, then I just teach them. The women are the nurturers, right? And I know what supreme mathematics is. I know about knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. So I got a lot of information to give because I believe that men want to have a woman that is submissive, right? But if you want a woman that's submissive and you don't have any personal development on your end, you don't have anything to teach that woman. You might be working and want to be a worker. There's nothing wrong with that. But Home Depot is paying that check. Now Home Depot is taking that girl out to eat. Provide so she don't have to go ask for a job. I don't care what it is. Like I told my newest partner that we're kind of dealing with, my 3, right? When she jump into my webinars, I'm going to pay you because I'm going to stimulate your economy. You know what I mean? I don't want to get nothing for free. I want you to understand that this is my business. And anything that comes out of that, I'm going to let my business take care of you, not me working for somebody else's dream and that take care of you. So I believe that I have to be the visionary, and I also have to be able to give something to that woman.
Okay.
So I'm curious for both of you guys, especially Jeelani, since you're married. If your partner came to you and said, I would like to bring another partner in, and you guys were not on board with it, how would that discussion go? And vice versa. Say either of you wanted to bring a partner in, but your significant primary person was like, nah. How does that conversation go? Like, is it, no, let's talk about it more till you get on board, or it's abort the 3? Because you called that person the 3. I'm curious. Does the three, do they take back seat to the, you know what I mean, to your primary? Like, is it just a discussion? Does it change?
It's just, for me, it's just a discussion, and ultimately it comes down to what I feel is right for me. You know what I mean? And that's where it's at. So even if my partner is like, today, right now, you like, no, that's a personal choice you make. That's a personal choice you make. And by all means, you got to stand on that. Because I'm going to stand on what makes me happy today. You know what I mean? And I hope you stand on what makes you happy today. So if that means that you don't want to go that way, then you might have to watch us grow from over here.
So you're still going to pursue a third person if your
today,
wife,
even if your wife isn't into it,
even if she ain't into it, today I'm still going to pursue the third person.
Yeah, because the dynamic of your relationship can change. Just because you set your dynamic, let's say I was in a closed triad situation. I was in a closed quad situation. That was wild.
That was wild.
But at the end of the day, for me, all of my needs weren't getting met. So I letting my partner know, the partners know, like, this is what I'm doing over here, and just communicating that thing, because at any moment your dynamic can change. Based on the level of your relationship, the level of your communication. So just because he's saying, like, yes, I'm still going to pursue this person, even if my wife doesn't want to be involved in this, their dynamic could be changing.
Oh, wow.
And it doesn't mean make it any less or any greater or any worse. It just change happens.
Change happens.
And it's inevitable.
Is there any level that you say, no, my partner doesn't want this, so I got to respect my partner's wants? Or is it all about what's good for you in the moment?
I think for me personally, it depends on what that person wants. If you just want to come in and have fun, and my person's like, no, we building a legacy. We got foundation things we want to do. This person just wants to have fun. Now, we can go have fun with her, and that's what we want to do. But if she wanting to like do more. She like want to have fun, but she want to hang out and drink. And now you being a distraction to what we got going on. Because a person that's distracted is only going to give you another place to be distracted at.
Right.
So it depends on what you actually coming in. If you coming in with knowledge, wisdom, understanding, you trying to build something, and that's what we own, that's the frequency we own, then that's going to just be natural. It's going to be organic. But if you coming in like, let's just turn up, like we not always on that. That's not really in our frequency.
It's a hot girl third summer.
So that's going to be a hard no.
girl spring. We on a hot girl spring.
But you do gotta still
Third
make it
spring.
past the wifey because ultimately for me, their relationship is primary. My relationship is secondary. That's for me, right?
Okay.
Because I get turned on by watching them build. I can see a text message thread and see them going 20 messages with just good morning.
The
333.
visual.
Yeah,
Ooh, this message is sexy.
You crazy. No, but we build, we give affirmation. So when I wake up in the morning, I see that they doing the 333, the 444, the numbers, they getting in tune with each other. That's more better for me to see them build because I'm always going to benefit from it anyway. Because the woman is
What is this 333-444? I don't know what
angel
you
numbers.
angel
sis.
numbers, baby.
You ain't seen
I don't know what that is.
Oh,
See?
what is
Look,
it?
a guy got something to give you. Look, you just learned something. A guy got
Listen,
something
can
to
you
teach.
can you inbox me? I don't know anything
inbox
about
you.
these 333
Oh, that's
or
not like
444.
a
No, because I inboxed him some
You see,
stuff. So
recruitment,
right now,
you hear the recruitment? You hear the
Teach me.
recruitment?
what I'm saying is I'm all about learning. Just teach me. That don't make it no
Teach me,
thing.
daddy. Teach me, daddy. Introduce me to the wifey.
They wild.
Have her show me them angel numbers.
I hate.
So I do want to
on the other side right now.
I do want to ask, so we're getting ready to wrap up. Like, what advice would you have for somebody who is curious, who wants to enter it, who is in it, and wants to make it better? Like, what advice would you give?
Do your shadow work.
Do your shadow work.
Do your self work. And shadow work is not for the faint of heart.
Mm.
Like, you literally have to be ready for that level of healing, that level of search within yourself. But it is, I think, doing your own self work before entering into a relationship with multiple partners is the best.
One partner.
The best. Yeah, even with one partner,
Yeah.
for sure. Like, yeah. I think working on yourself is the best thing.
I love it.
I don't really have nothing else to give. That's what it is. Shadow work and doing personal development. You know what I mean? Really working on yourself, getting in tune with yourself, coming into knowledge of self, and really like trying to figure out whether or not this is something that is in you or something that you are actively just trying to figure out and try for yourself as well. And there's nothing wrong with that. Just be honest with it. You know what I mean? That's what polyfuckery is when you're not honest and you're just doing shit and just doing shit. You know what I mean? And that's when I think the pimping stuff come in because at that point you just want to have 3 women. You don't know what to do with them. You don't have any knowledge to give them. You just got
no
program for them. And then now they're just in there fighting, cat fighting, and all kinds of stuff. And you don't have nothing to give. So
a program.
You know, at that point you just want to have. I need a program. At that point, just have a threesome. Just say that's what it is. Don't call it some kind of name to make it sound cool for the internet. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but also you can join some of these groups.
Right.
I'm in a couple poly groups on Facebook, and they legit get down to the nitty gritty and talking about the things. But be mindful of the groups that you're joining because some of these groups are polygyny only, polyandry
I got kicked out a couple.
only.
I didn't know.
Yeah, like some of these groups, are specific to the dynamic. But I would definitely listen to a couple podcasts, join some groups, listen to what's real about the relationships because it gets really real quick. And you got to be ready for that. Yeah. And your self-work is where you're going to be ready for that at. And continuing to do the work in the relationship.
I love it. Well, Nick B., what are your takeaways?
My gosh, my takeaways. I'm sorry. It's interesting to me. I don't even know if I have a takeaway from this. I've learned a lot tonight. And my biggest takeaway is just simply be open, not judgmental to any one person's lifestyle. It's all love, to each their own. And that's my biggest takeaway. I have no,
there you go.
I don't know what to say.
It's love.
Yeah. It's honestly, it's all love. I'm serious. It's all love. Like I really have no,
I think she's
discernment.
She over here blushing. Oh God.
Fuck! I've been drinking. I'm not blushing. I've been drinking.
I've been drinking. I love it. I love it. Okay. Well, where can we find y'all on social media or wherever else y'all be?
I'm Pretty Panther _1 on Instagram.
Oh, Pretty Panther.
Pretty Panther.
Mr. 3, the hard way on Instagram. And I'm also Mr. 3, the hard way on Bigo. Make sure y'all follow me on Bigo. You can tap in, get with the family, that Drip Dynasty, man. Squad up.
Give them some gifts.
Oh, yeah, I'm Pretty and Poly on Bigo.
All right. Drop them coins and them gifts. Okay. Where can they find you at, Nick B?
Yeah, you can find me on Instagram or Facebook under Nicole La. That's Nicole with an H. And of course, I can be reached on all of our platforms with Dirty Roses podcast. And LaRie, where can we find you?
I am everywhere, every single platform. LaRie, LeighlaRie. You can find me there. DirtyRosesPodcast.com, where you can subscribe, listen, and watch every single podcast platform, YouTube, all that. Yeah, I'm on Bigo too now on their stuff. You know what I'm saying? Hey, come on. Hey, give us gifts. Give me gifts. Hey. I need my 10%.
Yes.
And you can find us on us on every single platform with Dirty Roses Podcast. Like, subscribe, follow, leave us voicemails on our website, leave us comments, reviews, all those things. And then we look forward to seeing y'all next week. Yeah. Deuces.
Deuces.
Peace.